Okay. Going back into witches for part 5. Witches is pretty straightforward, but I think the only issue I run into is having to deal with the mad ones that spawn in. Okay. So all you're gonna need, all you have for this fight, like bolt paper actually helps, and fire paper. You don't have any fire paper, obviously. So what I like to do is when I'm running in, I like to go ahead and heal up to full. Pop your pellet about right here-ish. Turn around backwards, lock onto this one, R1, 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 L1. You can get a 5-shot on her with R1, but I like to knock him out of the way if he's in that position, and then just R1, 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 R1. Then you run over here, wait for your 2 insight to pop up, and then quit out. This is one of those fights I was talking about where, like, yeah, with the mad ones chasing you, you kind of want to be in a rush to quit out as soon as your blood echoes pop up, but you need that extra insight point to wait for 2 to pop up and then quit out on the barrel, and then I'll spawn you outside here. I'm not gonna go too deep into witches, so I'm just gonna show that once. And we just run out, head towards Canehurst. And the quit out is really nice here because if you run through even with an elixir, sometimes you're gonna have all the the hags, you're gonna have the executioner, and probably a bunch of dogs on the path. So quitting out resets all their positionings, which is really nice. Now this part, just hold down sprint, and as soon as you hear the gate start opening, you can pop a cord. Go ahead and swap to your next one. And then once this door starts opening, you can pop that cord there. It's just a bunch of free pops for you. That's why you just wait to get the extra insight until as late as possible. You're gonna have this guy chasing you like this, but you should have time to still pop this. And you can kind of run toward him a little bit and bait him. And then swap to your third one. And there's not much to explain here for a bit, you just go through normally. But yeah, the last one we're gonna pop is while we're waiting for the bookshelf to open up for the ladder. You can pretty much just run through this place, just kind of do a relatively straight line when you can, and I like to go a little wide here on this guy. Some people shoot him, you can lock onto him and shoot him right there and knock him down. I run just wide like that. He usually doesn't hit me. For the most part, you really don't need to do any stamina management. Maybe right here at this staircase, but even then, there's slightly different paths you can take on that room than I've just got through at the first floor, but alright, and then we go up the ladder, jump kind of left, go over here, pull the lever, and this is the part where you have a bunch of time to kill, so you can go ahead and pop your cord. You can go ahead and heal now if you want, which we'll do to save time. So heal for while it's free, and then go ahead and swap to your beast blood pellet, so no paper on this guy. And trick your weapon. We will have it ready for the transition, or the cutscene. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a save file here. We can do Logarius a few times. Just sort of follow this path. Don't drop too early on this next part right here. I'm gonna drop about here-ish or later. Because if you fall down, you know, dying and stuff, not fun. Yeah, I'm gonna make a save file right up here though. But yeah, if you're especially just starting and you're not for like all the squeezing water out of rock time saves, then you can go ahead and heal up again. Let me put in my Flash drive real fast. Okay, where is it? So go here, close app, go here, 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 here. At the very end of this, I might go over again the extra stuff, like setting up splits and save files and whatnot. Don't know yet. Depends on how my voice is. It was pretty rough yesterday. Logarius is another fight that's pretty straightforward, but it's really easy to die to him, especially toward the end of the fight. I mean, you can die at any time. He does a lot of cheap moves, but the end of the fight gets really sketchy if you're not familiar with him. Kind of a huge help to speedrunning this game to me is doing challenge runs early on. I feel like low level challenges are really helpful to learn a boss well. Because if you come in here fighting this guy at BL4 with a +0 weapon and no buffs, like, fight's obviously going to take a lot longer. Alright, the transition is right about where my hat is. So like right before this little fleur-de-lis looking thing. So that's about where you want to pop your trick your weapon out. So go ahead and have your pellet popped and trick about here-ish. Now what we're gonna do is beeline for him. Depending on his opener, we might have to dash through some skulls. Otherwise, just get to him as fast as possible. And we're gonna do R1, L1. He's gonna back up, R1, L1. He's gonna back up, and then you commit. You go R1, L1, L1, L1. Trick your weapon back. Try and do 2 R1s if you can, but you might not have time to. So just get in 1 R1 and then get enough stamina to do 2 charged R2s. And he's gonna get away with like 1 hit left. So let's go ahead and try it. I'll do this fight multiple times. This is one we're gonna have to actually dash. Dash to the skulls. So R1, L1. He backs up. R1, L1. Back. Now commit to a full 4-piece. We're gonna do 1 R1 and get their stamina to at least half, like right to the left of the item bar, and then just run toward him and finish him off. Now that's the part, or to me, that gets super sketchy. Like I said early on, it's you can get hit from a cheap ability where he kind of instantly summons a skull explosion in front of him, but you can see it coming. He kind of has a telltale sign that he does, but I'll have to look for it so I can try and explain what I just have a feel for it at this point. I don't really think about it. I'll see if he'll do it to me though. Alright, so get your pellet popped here-ish. Trick your weapon about here. Let's try this again. Maybe he can do some dirty stuff to us. He's giving us the bad opener again. We have to dash through. So, R1. See? Right there you can tell. The way he kind of like, I don't know how to describe the way he moved there. You can tell it's coming. He backed up an extra time. We should be able to like finish him off here. You gotta kind of improvise sometimes, because you don't always get the perfect R1 L1, R1 L1, R1 3 L1s opener. So you gotta work around what he gives you, because if you see the instant explosion coming, you kind of want to iframe that to avoid it. I mean, if you get hit by it, especially if you hadn't healed to full, it's probably gonna one-shot you. And even if it doesn't want to one-shot you, you're probably going to want to heal up to full after you get hit by it anyway, which wastes a lot of time, and it's just not good. I don't know how to really explain the way to tell when he's about to do that. I'd have to like pause the video and watch it and actually open up before I did there, before he actually moved if you want to. See, we're kind of improvising here since we got an awkward... It's kind of like an awkward move there. You can kind of run in a light circle on this. I got stuck on his invisible body. When he goes up in the air, he actually still has a hitbox. And I just happened to run right into it like an idiot. I'm going to show this fight a few more times just to show that particular move, actually. I honestly get it about 95% of the time. I don't know why I messed that up. Yeah, this is definitely one you can benefit from doing BL4. Like, I would do the whole game BL4, not necessarily speedrun, just like a challenge run. Go as high as you can to whatever NG cycle you can handle. Okay. Good opener. Let's try and open on him early. Stamina to right to the left of the item bar. I'm gonna try and get him to do an aerial attack. That's good. You can kind of walk with him. I don't really know how to explain. You just kind of get at a relative distance I was, and you can just kind of walk with him and then queue up a backstab. I missed the actual backstab. We still clipped him with it. I can't go. I mean, I could show this boss for an hour straight and still be talking about things to do to him, but yeah, you just fight him at low level for a while. You'll get a feel for him. I'm just gonna do it like a few more times though. And if for whatever reason you have extra damage, like you didn't get the 41-25, you would probably kill him, or you'd definitely kill him even faster than this. Alright, so get your pellet popped. Transform. Get to him as fast as possible. We're gonna get the bad opener. We got a dash. And R1L. That's okay. Shoot it up. He's gonna have one hit left. Okay, kind of run in a light circle like so, and then you can backstab him. See how like when I was trying to run there, he had like an invisible hitbox, and I was bumping into it. You gotta kind of get around that, and just run like a circle about so. Like, don't sprint or anything. Just a really light turn. You don't want it too wide, or you don't want to be like this or anything, but just a little wider than that. Run at a slow pace, and then you can, like, as you know he's about to land, you can go ahead and queue up the R2. No, just aim it toward him without locking on or anything. I'll try and get the aerial attack again too. Show the relative distance you need to be able to punish that. And you don't have to backstab these things either, because if he does it like right out, like say you just didn't do enough damage to have him at 1 hit left to die, you don't have, there's no reason for you to queue up an R2 unless he actually has like a bunch of health left. You can just smack him with an R1 or something. But just knowing how to dodge it is, I guess, the important part here. Or if one day you decide to BL4 a speedrun, it'll be beneficial. Get our pellet popped. Go ahead and transform. Get to him as fast as you can. We're gonna go ahead and open up immediately. See how he was about to go for that dirty attack there. He's kind of slipping away. Okay, this is gonna get awkward. He's gonna have a lot of health left here. This is what I'm talking about. It's so easy for this fight just to go silly. This part gets really sketchy. Let's see if we can actually get the positioning here. See about the distance he was? He was maybe roughly where that peak was there, maybe. And then I'm about this far away. He's probably a little closer than that. And you don't really have to move or anything. You can roll just in case, especially if he's at low health. So like say he's over that way, he does the aerial attack, you can just kind of roll it with him This is to land about where he's gonna be and just smack him once. But if he has a lot of health left, you might want to go for that backstab. And then after the backstab, if he's still alive, you can do an L1 like that, or do backstab into charged R2. Let's show it one more time though. But do you see how it's really easy for that fight to get awkward, so you don't get to do all your normal rotations? Because it's really nice if you get to do the normal opener, and you go up to him and you do R1 once and then double backstab him. You know he's gonna have one hit left. But when he gets all crazy and interrupts your rotation, then it's hard to tell exactly how many hits it's gonna take. So that's why it's good at that point when he has a chunk of health left, just to be able to punish some of his stuff. Because the worst thing he does in his last phase to me is the melee combos. Like, he's actually been really nice so far with those. He's only done like one. I just usually haul ass away from him when he does that. I don't know how to deal with it that well. So R1, L1, 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 R1, L1, L1, L1. Let's try 2 hits here. See if we can get it in. So yeah, you do have time for it. It's just really, really tight. That's like pretty much the perfect fight. We get that extra R1 in early. That way when we double backstab, it finishes him off rather than letting him get away and do an attack in his last phase. So let's do it once more. I'll try and, I don't want to do this because it's going to make me show you how bad I am at this game, but I'm going to try and get some melee combos in the last phase just to show what I do. And I run around like a little bitch and usually just die to him. Because a lot of his combos, if you get caught up in them, it feels like you get stun locked. Like you can get it 3 or 4 times in a row and it's like, you feel like you're trying to get out of it and just nothing happens. You just die. And I'm pretty sure if you spam hard enough, you can probably get out of it. It's just, I think they really fine-tuned that attack to fuck you over. Let's see if we can actually get it to happen. I'm gonna let him move once here, and then we're gonna attack. I'm gonna do an R1 here. I'm just gonna let him have a bit more health than normal. Yeah, let's just let him get away. When I wouldn't... Okay, I wasn't watching for that. Okay. So about here-ish, and you can queue it up. I'm not gonna hit him with it. And then run in a light circle, like so. Queue it up. Kill him. Light circle. He's doing some really easy attacks. About here-ish. Queue it up. Light circle. Queue it up. Okay, give me some melee. Okay, here you want to lock onto him and then change your lock on and then dash a little bit. You can actually parry this. You can dash in and L1 him there. I'm not going to finish him off again. Just trying to see what attacks we can get. Queue it up. Knock him out. Can parry that. Okay. Or not. I think I did it a little bit early. Oh, this attack again? You see how easy this is to punish though? You just kind of get at that general distance and just wait for him to land. Man, my parry timing sucks in this guy. There we go, dash in and I would L1 there. Lock onto that, shoot it, and then move to the side. Kind of get in the right spot here. Queue it up, go in a light circle. Queue it up. Again, you don't have to backstab these. I'm just trying to show you the positioning. I was kind of far away from him there, so I didn't want to do the light circle because he was kind of at an angle. I just had to time the roll. This attack again. Bam, bam, bam with R1s if you want. I went the wrong way for some reason. I went the other way with the circle instead of clockwise. This attack again, really? You whack, whack, whack. I kind of want to delay that parry there a little bit longer than you might think. Cue it up. Light circle. Okay, I'm just gonna kill him off. Let's do it. I wasted a lot of materials on that fight trying to show off what I could. I don't know. I can't talk about a boss for 2 hours or something, or try and show what I would do. I'm not the best at Logarius anyway. But definitely, please, for the love of God, do BL4 playthrough at least once, preferably multiple times, and even higher NG cycles. It's gonna help so much on Logarius and like somebody like Orphan, Maria, a bunch of bosses really, Gehrman. Alright, so this is the last one we're gonna do, unless we die, of course. Okay, get to him as fast as you can. Go ahead and lock on. Dash in. R1L. You can see, like I said, it's really tight waiting for your stamina, having done 2 R1s instead of just the one before the big combo. But you can do it. You're feeling ballsy. And then you just come, this lamp here is located right between the cross of these 2 sort of paths, like right in the middle of it, you can see. So it goes that way, behind me, this way, and over that way. It's like right in the middle. So like after he's dying, you can go ahead and get in position right here and get ready to light it and just warp back like so. Easy game. And we're actually headed towards the DLC now. So what you're gonna do here is you need to get your hunter carrying 4 beast blood pellets total. That's very important. You need 4. You could get more if you wanted, but the bare minimum is you're gonna need to buy the rock. So you come up here and hold on one second. You come up here, interact with this, go right 1, go down a few, get the rock. You have to do that. And then whatever you have left, so we have 5 insight points. So we were gonna get 2 beast blood pellets. And then I have 3 left at this point. I got 1 extra from Rom, and I might have, I don't know if I picked up some others or what. I guess I just got a couple extras somewhere. But at this point you can decide, okay, I have 3 extra insight, might as well spend them. So you could buy an extra elixir, or you could buy some bolt papers even. Honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. I'll go ahead and buy an elixir so I can show what I do in the research hall with the extra one. And then I'll just spend the extra one on, I'll buy paper. I'm gonna actually trash it though. I don't want to have it in my inventory. I just want to get rid of the insight. So yeah, you can kind of think ahead, like know about what your insight's going to be when you wrap all this up, and you can use your best judgment at that point to buy whatever extra you need, and then run back down here, go up twice, and then hit Cathedral Ward. Yeah, bare minimum buy the rock and get your get your beast blood pellets to 4. Because 4 bosses and each one takes 1 pellet. If it was BL4, you would need 6 for the DLC though, as an example. But yeah, you just need 1 for each boss. Okay, and you don't really need anything else on your bar except these 3 items. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a save file for, start spamming options whenever you get squeezed by Amygdala there. I'll go ahead and make a save file at the beginning of this DLC. So you don't need to actually use the lamp. You don't need to take it back to the dream or anything here, which is like the old route. where you would not have spent any insight yet until you got here. You would have, you know, warped back. But all we got to do here is, all we have to do is just light the thing to come back, to use it later to get back to Lawrence. Otherwise you wouldn't need it at all. Yeah, I'm gonna make a save file just to run through this first part of the DLC a few times. It's pretty sketchy. There's a part where, one part where you have to quit out for like 4 mobs, which I've died to many times, but I think I figured out where you can kind of quit out to the side, which I'll show you. But the first run through, you don't want to stamina manage until like a certain point. And I'll try and explain this because like you're trying to get to the boulder trigger as soon as you can. And once you get there, you have time to kill for a little while. So we're going to stamina manage very lightly to about half, just so we can get up to the trigger point. Otherwise, you're not going to stamina manage. DLC run through is pretty scary. I mean, this part is kind of scary, but then like running through the research hall is probably one of the worst run throughs. Research hall and even fishing hamlet can be pretty bad without an elixir. Alright, so we just lit the lamp. Now it's time to run. So just start running. And I'd say don't stamina manage, just follow this general path. Try and keep it as tight as you can. Try and keep it consistent. I'd say always, like running through any area, I'd say always keep it the same. Unless you find out a new strat or something you want to try. This is the part where I'm gonna let my stamina build up to about half here, see? And then we're gonna run this path here. And you see I already triggered the boulder. Now it doesn't matter what we do for just a few seconds, like we gotta wait anyway. Get up here before the door's all the way open and go ahead and start sprinting so your max speed before it opens. And here you don't need to do any stamina management for a bit. When we come back through the sort of executioner there at the door, if he's in a bad spot, just don't fuck with him. You can't quit out. If you quit out, the door closes in your face and you gotta wait again. So I would say quitting out is not an option. So he's actually in a good spot here. But if he happened to be like back further, like closer to where these dead mobs are, you probably want to just either try and slip past him if he's far enough back, or just wait for him to get where he is now. I kind of like bait him slightly right, and then I go to his left just to be safe. And let's run this path. Be careful with this gun here. I like to have my stamina built up before it, so I do a little bit of stamina management here, and that way I can sort of slip past this without getting pelted in the face. You can kind of run this path if you're going try hard mode. You want to get your stamina up a little bit, so that way you can actually last all the way to about here-ish. I like to quit out a little bit to the right of that big guy there. I don't like to go all the way up next to him. I feel like if you're right up next to him, when you load back in, the two guys where they respawn it, the first one has a tendency to aggro too quickly and just knock the crap out of you. And it makes it really weird when you're trying to kill him, getting staggered out. So what you're going to do when you load in is just going to do 2 R1s on both of these guys, like so, and just run right between their hitboxes when they're dying. As you're falling here, pop your elixir. Otherwise your character would slow down a lot, and just run this sort of general path. I like to stamina manage just a little bit here to run past this guy cleaner. If you can tell he's about to start spitting, you can kind of like juke right and left on him too, to avoid it. Get your stamina to about full, wrapping around this corner, and just beeline for the ladder. You can die here if he decides to shoot you 3 times, so there's just like nothing you can do about it. But it's really, really rare. Go ahead and transform your weapon for Ludwig. You can kind of hug this right side. Let's see if we can get it, and you won't get a hard fall there. Now go ahead and heal up about maybe here-ish. Grab close by this guy. There's vials right here. There's 6 of them, but if you try and grab them, then a lot of times you're gonna get hit there, unless you are really familiar with how it works. if you absolutely need the vials, then you could wait and grab them. Okay, so Ludwig, oh baby, this fight. Okay, so I'm just gonna show the best strat on this guy, I think. Yeah, let's just show the best strat. So you don't have bolt paper to use on him, but you don't really need it. It's basically the same thing. You're gonna want to have your weapon transformed already, or tricked out, and you're gonna roll into him and do L1, L1, and that's gonna break his back right leg. You're gonna run up to his face, slightly to his right side, and you're gonna do, I believe, is it 3 R1s? It's all like muscle memory. It's hard to think about. I think it's 3 R1s at his face, yeah. And then you're gonna reposition to his back right leg, and then do R1, L1, L1, and queue up a charged R2. And you're gonna kind of aim toward his legs. It's gonna make more sense when I do it, but I'm just trying to think it through. But you want your, like when you're building up your stamina for the R1, L1, L1 charged R2, you want it not completely full, but you want it pretty close to full, so you have enough stamina to actually do the combo. But then again, you don't want to do the combo early, because if you do R1, L1, L1, you can see how much stamina we have left right there. You have plenty. So you probably want to do it about maybe midway through the item box. But if you do it too early, you're not going to get the counter hit that we need. So basically what happens here is we're staggering his back right leg, then we stagger his head, and all the while we're building up beast meter, and then we continue on his back right leg again with the R1, L1, L1 charged R2. So those L1s are rapidly building up beast meter again, and the charged R2, so your meter's high, and the timing of your charged R2 hitting him, if you do it right, is a counter hit. So you're hitting him as hard as you can with a single attack, transitioning him at 50% to phase 2, but you're doing so much damage that it forces him into a charged attack whenever he goes into phase 2, which is really easy to punish. So we're gonna have our weapon tricked. You don't want to pop anything until the fight is actually initiated. So it initiates about right here at this white spot where the top of my head is. That's roughly where the cutscene happens. So you don't need to trick your weapon or anything here, like through the cutscene like you would other places. Leave your weapon transformed and make sure your beast blood pellet's selected, and just simply run into it. When we get in there, I'm not gonna lock onto him or anything. I'm just gonna immediately pop my pellet, and I'm gonna stand still for just a second, and then I'm gonna slowly move toward him. Let's just do it several times. So go ahead and pop it. Slowly move forward, roll. L1, L1. Trick your weapon back. R1, R1, R1. Go back here. You want to kind of tuck into his legs. And you see how, like, I kind of got, he has like multiple legs back there, so I kind of got tucked inside between the two. And then I waited for my stamina to get about 80-ish% or so. And then you queue up R1, L1, L1, charge R2, and sort of aim the direction I was. And we got a nice counter hit. So now what we're gonna do in phase 2 is we're just gonna beeline for him. Like, go ahead and hold down sprint, do a running R1 into another R1. Try and iframe this if you can. It's actually really fucking precise. And then you just beat him down at the end. And that's pretty much the perfect fight. Yeah, the iframe on that attack, it's not necessary, because even if you get hit by it, you're gonna be able to rally a bunch of your health back anyway when you stand back up. But if you know for a fact you got the good counter hit, you can watch his health bar. If it goes down drastically and he's at, like, I don't know, 35% health going into phase 2, I'm just arbitrary number, it doesn't matter. But you can tell when you get the counter hit, it knocks the crap out of him. You know you can just run into him, do a running R1 into another R1. He's gonna explode. You can try and iframe it. Like I said, it's not important. And then just finish him off with like 5 attacks. Okay, the same thing. So we're running in from here. We don't trick our weapon or anything for the cutscene. Go ahead and pop this, move forward slightly, roll. R1, R1, R1. L1, L1. The hardest, honestly, the hardest thing here to me is probably the timing of the, and you even have time to heal here for free. It's like you gotta wait for this door to open anyway. The hardest thing for me is probably the timing on the head stagger, because all I can say is, I mean, I guess I could look at my stamina bar and kind of see about where it is when I'm waiting for his head to come swing back around, but I do it based on what he looks like. Basically when his head is about where I start swinging. You can actually do it a touch earlier than that even, just to be safe. The thing is, if you do it too early and you miss your first hit, that's kind of bad. But whatever you do with the timing of it, try and find a good sway of his head, or positioning of it, or do another method, maybe your stamina bar, if you're comfortable with that, just to keep it consistent. That way you're always used to it, and you can follow up the next stamina, or the next combo the same. So let's see it. Watch his head, see about where it is. And then we get our stamina almost full. Get tucked in here. Aim about straight toward him. See, I didn't get the counter hit there because I did it too early. Now he can actually do a follow-up attack. So we're just gonna just do another random combo here. So like, even if the fight goes poorly, like that was actually a bad fight, but it still was, I mean, probably looked fine for the most part. You don't lose a ton of time. You start losing a ton of time whenever he gets away from you in phase 1 somehow, which is really bad. But if he transitions without the counter hit, then he's not going to do that guaranteed charged attack that you can punish easily. He's going to open up with something random. So just got to be mindful of that. This is another one I would say, this is a good fight to do on BL4. It's one of the most fun fights in the game, and it's good to know how to punish his phase 2, especially if he does get away from you. See, we did it too early again. So he can do an attack now. Oh, maybe we did get it actually. I don't know, it felt bad for some reason. Might have been just enough damage somehow. So yeah, pellet, roll in, L1, L1, let his head sway back a little bit, 3 R1s, tuck in between his legs. Don't let your stamina get to full there. You need to do it earlier than that, just a little bit. And then you kind of need to figure out a timing to get the charged R2 as a counter hit. Let's see if we can get a good fight again. I'm not gonna talk through this one. I'm just gonna do it this time. Basically what you want though. This is the cool part about this strat is even if you mess up a little bit, especially or mainly with the transition. Hold on one second. If you mess up with the sort of transition attack, the charge R2, and it doesn't get a counter hit, you're pretty much still going to be able to stagger him in like 1 or 2 hits, probably just 1 hit anyway. And try and avoid viscerals, because this setup is not good for viscerals. You have soft cap for skill, but that's it. I mean, it still does a good bit of damage, it's just usually slower. So yeah, even if he gives you, or even if you miss the charged R2 counterattack damage, like it's still not that bad in phase 2. You just gotta pretty much know how to do like dodge like one attack. Okay, so what I like to do here is when I get to about the top of these stairs roughly, have my stamina almost full. It's like if we're running through here and I get up to the top, I like to let it manage like so. Now this part, whenever you get up close, just kind of dash right a little bit, and as soon as I'm getting close to the altar, I let go of sprint entirely. That way, whenever I come back in, when I'm skipping the cutscene, I go ahead and push down sprint again, and that allows me to run backwards to trigger the elevator and then loop around to the lamp. So we're gonna hold sprint here as we're skipping, run backwards just a touch, and then run straight for the lamp. And now the DLC, they're gonna be all out of whack on their positioning, so I'm probably gonna mark out just for the sake of consistency here. Because yeah, you want to push this elevator back down for later. Like you're gonna go through the whole DLC, and if you kill Orphan, when you hunter mark out, this is the only lamp you're gonna have, and it's gonna bring you back here, and that way you're able to just pull this and grab the skull with a drop down and whatnot. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna mark out here because we don't need our echoes anyway. So I'm just gonna mark out and start running through the DLC. Actually, I need to make a save file for this. Yeah, I want to show this multiple times. Let's do that real fast. But yeah, try and in any boss fight, try and like use markers on the ground for certain things. Use what the boss is actually doing at the exact moment you try and queue up attacks. Watch your stamina bar if you want to use that. Like you have options for like visual cues. You can count in your head, like count to 2 or something for certain things. Just whatever works. I use my stamina bar a lot for things, so. Alright, yeah, so we'll run through this first part of the research hall. This is one of those parts where, depending on how peachy you're being, you might have extra elixirs to use. We currently have 3, so I'm gonna use one for, I used one for the Blood River, so we have 2 left, and I'm gonna use one for Fishing Hamlet, so that's 1 left, and the last one I'll use for the second part of the research hall, which I'll show it with and without it. I like to use it for the second part of the research hall because it's really easy to get one shot by the ladder guard. Okay, so after we light the lamp, we're gonna immediately start running this general path here. Kind of hug it tight if you can, and just keep holding down circle. And as soon as we start sprinting again, go ahead and pull up your quit out menu. Just keep running this direction. You're gonna want to try and get as high up the stairs as you can, and already have your quit out menu pulled up because of what that guy just did. He tried to smack me. So the best thing that could happen in that part is to run all the way up to the door and be able to quit out. Reason being is these guys really aren't going to mess with you that much, but it's more so the guy to me up top of the ladder. So run, you can kind of wrap around the right side. Those guys on the right shouldn't mess with you. This part, I'm gonna kind of run this general path and kind of whip left here past this stool, and then go through the store. You have to be careful with that stool back there, because if you hug it too tight, then it's going to, you're actually going to get stuck on it. So you want to be a little bit more to the right, like actually touching the stool, than too far left. See, the timing on these rolls, or you can lock on and dash him too. He's got some really weird delayed attacks that he does. You gotta be careful. I would say just practice running past him multiple times. Abuse your save files. Okay, this part here, Okay, so there's like a little sort of, I'll see if I can show it. There's like these light little markings here that shine at this angle. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a little light shine on the right side of this railing right here. And there's another one right there. It's kind of hard to point out, but basically just past those two, I kind of jump right here at an angle and I try and get an aerial grab on the lever. What it does though, let's see if I can get it. So like jump about here and spam X. And if I let the rats get around, so like they're just, you know, they're just doing their thing over there. That normally wouldn't happen. I waited too long on that. Hold on, I'm just gonna do this part real fast and I'll explain it. I'm just gonna reload now. So you would normally do that with the rat still next to it. If you get that grab in the air though, then it causes the rat's AI to bug out and he just kind of stares into nothingness and doesn't mess with you. So I like to go for that each time. As far as the timing on the drop, I'll show that this time because I was kind of distracted by the rats. So yeah, we're gonna do the whole first bit of the research hall run through a few times. So yeah, we just killed Ludwig, light the lamp, and just start sprinting immediately up. If you happen to have an elixir, you can use it here if you're able to from the pellet pop. Keep in mind, oh yeah, that's something else. A little thing is if you have a pellet popped, those 60 seconds you can't use an elixir and vice versa. Or like on the same table or something. Okay, I got a little greedy there. I tried to get as close to the door as I could and then quit out. So this is going to be a little bit awkward. Like these first guys here at the bottom of the ladder aren't going to be an issue, really. I'm just concerned with the next guy. So yeah, you kind of want to hug this table on the left, but not too close so you don't get stuck. You see how close that is though? I mean, just dying. That's why you want to get through there as fast as possible. Woo! I would have stopped to shoot him, but I didn't get a chance. Just roll his attacks, and we're just going for it here. I'm not even stopping to heal. Yeah, but normally you'd want to slip past those two guys at the bottom of the stairs and then lock on and shoot that Gatling gun boy. So like jump here, spam X, and now watch what the rat does. See how he derps out? And now run over here and you can heal for free while you're waiting. And let the platform get about halfway up the railing. Change your grip here to spam circle with your index finger for the faster spam. Double roll this. Just run and jump off here. Heal up to full. Have your bolt paper ready, and then the Failures Fight will trigger. Failures Fight is one of the 5 fights in the whole run that you use bolt paper on. So have your bolt paper ready. How far are we in here? Almost an hour. So I can probably do Failures and Maria and then save Orphan and the rest for the last part. So yeah, let's run through here at least one more time. I'm gonna show it this time with an elixir though. But definitely don't just practice boss fights, practice running through sections too. I'm gonna use an elixir though at part 2 of the research hall just to show how comfy it is. Usually. Okay, so quitting out early here is better than quitting out late and getting your face kicked in. So just really, well, that's why you have your quit out menu, is so you can react like on a dime. Already have it ready. Otherwise, by the time you saw them coming at you, you try to pull up your quit up menu, you're probably just gonna get 2 shot. So already have it ready. And then when you load in, just start sprinting. You can go left or right of these guys. I find that going right guarantees pretty much so I don't get hit. And watch when we run too far left here. It didn't actually work that time because I broke it. You can sometimes get stuck on that though. I meant to use my elixir here. Fuck. Yep. I don't want to talk about that. This is why I use an elixir usually. I don't like to deal with all this crap. You can just like 2-shot these guys, by the way. I just decided to try and roll past them like a moron. It's like pretty much 100% of the time I'm not running through here without an elixir, so I like to peach out just a touch and get one for it. Yeah, the running through here is one of the worst parts of this game for run-throughs. Like Yargle can be kind of bad. Blood River is a little bit annoying, but this is like top tier bullshit. So we're gonna do it. I'm gonna pretend like I'm actually in a run right now. Do it how I would. See, he attacked early. I don't want to get clipped, so I went ahead and quit out. Alright, as soon as you're loading in, just go ahead and have sprint held down. I'm gonna try going to the left here, just to show that they're more likely to hit you there, but it's a touch faster. Okay, and then use the bottom of the stool as like a marker where to go into. I like to pop my elixir right here-ish, and so while I'm running up to the door, and you might have to roll that attack. And then these guys, you hope they move up the stairs just a little bit, not fully. You can shoot him to be safe. If they're not very far up the stairs, you actually don't need to even shoot him. You can just keep running. And then I kind of run out a little bit wide here and go straight for the ladder. That we don't have to worry about dodging that guy. This is exactly why I use the elixir. You can see how much more comfy that is. Like, just things don't fuck with you as much. And we'll go for the rat skip here. Yes, 3 in a row. See how he derps out? Go ahead and get your bolt paper ready. Let this platform get about halfway up the beam. Drop down. Spam circle. Go ahead and heal up. You can do once if you want to. Once, and then make sure you have a good spam grip for this part. You do not want to stored roll here. You just, like 90% of the time, just straight up die. Okay. Now we're going to make a save file for failures. This fight is not too bad. I'm not saying you can't die here. I've died plenty of times, and I'm sure a lot of people have, but it's pretty easy strat. Like, you're basically gonna, if the first one gives you a good opener, you can parry him and punish him and kill him in a few shots, and then you move over to the right failure and just spawn camp it. The things you have to deal with, even if the fight is going perfectly, the things you have to deal with is you're farming the right one, but the left one is spawning as well. And if you're killing the right one fast enough, only the left one spawns. So you only have to deal with the 2 of them. The thing is, the one on the left has spell abilities. So if he starts spamming arcane balls at you, you're gonna have to be mindful of that, and you can just kind of walk to the side, left or right, away from it, and dodge it. But that's gonna eat into your uptime on spamming down the right failure. So that's when it gets kind of sketchy, and at best it wastes a little bit of time. At worst, you get hit with it, and if you have a lot of beast meter, that can one-shot you, especially if it's a counter hit. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna go ahead and open the door as soon as you drop down from the rats and everything. Immediately pop your paper and immediately pop your pellet right after. And depending on if he moves towards you, Okay, he's moving toward us. Get ready for a parry. Okay, he's kind of being awkward. Okay, Jesus Christ, he was... That's so annoying, man. Like, he wouldn't attack me. So it took too long. And the reason you want to wait to pop your pellet like that is so you have enough meter to be able to 3-shot him. But since I had to stand there and stare at him for 5 seconds, I didn't have enough meter to 3-shot. Yeah. Let's actually get a good fight here. I don't know, if he's too awkward, you can actually just simply go to the spawn of the right one and just wait for him, and then try and like cleave them both down, which is pretty sketchy, but I mean, the opening guy just trolls really hard sometimes. I don't think I've ever seen that opener though, the way he did it, like he moved to the right. That was really strange. Okay, can you just give me an opener? Okay, parry that. 3-shot him with L1s. Get ready for this guy to do like a combo on you. I'll be in front of him. Like, you can be in front of him, but just be ready to get out of the way. And you can like, okay, it only takes 4 hits with high meter to kill him, but you can actually still do damage to him after he's already technically dead. So do as many hits as you can while he's up. But this is, just pay attention to where I'm standing. See the position of the flowers? Just to mark about where he is. And then go ahead and pull up your quit out menu and get as close to the door as you can. And you're gonna wanna quit out. This is, the reason you quit out there, I'm gonna do failures a few more times. The reason you quit out there though is, this is like the one place we abuse it, but your beast meter build up is preserved on quit outs. So you want to preserve that for popping another pellet on Maria. So you get roughly about half, maybe 60% of your beast meter at the start, which you can watch. If you don't understand how beast blood pellets work, I have a video I posted very recently. You can see that kind of goes into detail of how beast blood pellets are in this game. So let's try that again. I kind of hope he gives me a bad opener so I can just move over to the right one and show, like, trying to double punish. It's a little awkward, but he's probably gonna give us a good one here. Oh, not doing it. That actually went surprisingly well. You can see how sketchy it is though. But yeah, you want your stamina, usually try and get it up to about full so you can get the full 5 hit, although like I said, it only takes 4. Kill him. He might spam us here. Okay, we're getting like really good fights after the opener at least. You also, if your stamina is kind of low, you can wait and kind of jump like this at the tail end of it to just get value out of your stamina bar. There's a couple of places in the run where you want to do that, or actually like 3 that I can think of at least, maybe more. But yeah, the opener was a little awkward, so I just said fuck the guy in the middle and I went to the right, and you can see like it was really fast how it worked out, but it's also really easy to die. So you just kind of got to play to what they give you for the beginning. And I kind of hope the left one starts spamming arcane balls so I can show you can just kind of sidestep those a little bit. You don't have to do much. You kind of, like, in between waiting for stamina bars, I like to kind of move left or move right a bit actually, when I know he's going to be an issue. See, I don't even like dealing with this guy. here? See, this is what I'm talking about. This fight can get awkward really fast. Alright, spam me, daddy. Come on. Give me them arcane balls. See how I kind of moved to the right there? I don't know. It seems like it encourages him to get in a bad spot. Okay, he didn't give us arcane balls. Let's do it until we get some arcane balls. So your issues in this fight are whenever the first guy spawn, or whenever you initiate the fight, the guy in the middle, he might not give you a good opener to parry punish, because you usually want to parry him into dash in and 3L1s, and if you do it fast enough, if he lets you do it fast enough, you can 3-shot him. If he waits too long though, your pellet's gonna fall off enough to where you don't get that bonus damage for the first hit, and you don't 3-shot him. And then what happened earlier in that other fight happens, kind of thing.
I have failed.
So let's try and hold off a bit on just butchering the right spawn, so we can get some arcane balls, perhaps. Okay, he's coming toward us. This is a good sign. Nope, he just fucked off. I'm going over here. You can see how fucking nice that is though. Like if they stack up like that. They give me... Okay, let's see. Spam arcane balls. Kind of run to the right a little bit to hopefully bait him. Okay, like that one I didn't even need to move away from. You see how like kind of bait them different directions. Like the right, see how he shoots it to the right now? I don't have to worry about it. But you don't have to like sprint away from or anything, you can just kind of lightly move one direction. Okay, and I, was obviously throwing that fight away to show the arcane balls, but you have to keep in mind, since you pop your bolt paper before your pellet, if you happen to be running towards Maria's door and your bolt paper falls off your cleaver, like you notice it, quit out like immediately. If the fight's officially over, like make sure you have your echoes, but don't push it too much. Don't like, oh, I got to take advantage of my stamina bar and get all the way to the door or something. Just watch your bolt paper if you know the fight was slow, and if you see your bolt paper fall off, like pretty much immediately quit out. That way it'll still preserve your beast meter for Maria. So we're gonna do this fight one more time, and then I'll move on to Maria. Let's see if we can get like a sketchy fight or something. I'll show how to die. We got tagged there, but we're gonna get most of our health back from rally health anyway, or all of it. See how I was like kind of in front of him and I pretty much immediately changed my positioning there? Like the head slam is like, I feel like is almost guaranteed if you stay in front of him too long. You can also kind of swing early if you know he's about to spawn, and you can get an extra hit in. And you kind of move just a little bit over. Make sure there's like a lingering hitbox on that, so be careful. You don't want to move in too early. Okay, and then we're just gonna pull up our quit out. We got to spawn! I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I'm gonna meme for a second, I'm sorry. I have to. I'm gonna fight Maria with the failure up. They have to meme. Come on. Come on, boy. Come on. Ish. Let's see if I can kill them both. Get in here. Get in here. Yes, we're going. Let's go. Yeah, this is going off course with the tutorial, but this is necessary. I tried. Oh man, that's fun. I got womboed. Okay, back on course. Back to the tutorial. All right, well, we'll have to do failures one more time, but it was worth it. It's definitely worth it. So yeah, big thing on failures. If number 1 gives you bad opener, go to right side, try and cleave them both down. Just strafe a little bit for the big arcane balls, and you can try and queue up your attacks early for the spawns. Get some extra damage. And then be careful. Watch your cleaver. If you see bolt paper fall off, then you want to quit out really soon after to preserve your meter. But don't quit out early enough to where you don't get your echoes. That should be a perfect free shot. See, I knew that was coming. So I had to time out a roll. I was just in a weird spot in front of him. I should get the spawn on the left now. Yep. And you can kind of try and time this out. I like to just get in the habit of running right there. Okay, now we're gonna make a save file for Maria. You can see our meter's like 95% right there. And so we don't necessarily get all of that because by the time we actually make it to the Maria fight, it's, you know, it's dropped down a bit, but we get the bulk of it, which is nice. All right, so Maria is pretty much you want to do a constant R1, 3L1, or so not 3, R1, L1, L1, so 2 L1s, until she's about the threshold you need to transition to phase 2. And then you want to kind of like have it to where by the time you walk up to her, your stamina is almost full and you can do 5 hits on her. You can back up as she's transitioning and then she explodes and you walk in and do like ideally 2 R1s, but sometimes it's just 1. And if the fight's gone well, she's usually at the threshold where she'll transition either then or like really soon. And then when she's transitioning, you can actually do like a full combo. We might need to finish with 2 L1s at the end of the combo to finish her off. But I don't know, it's a little harder now. You have a little less damage than we used to. But the general idea is like with each hit counting as 1, so R1 is 1, L1's 1, or 2 is, and L1 is 3 again. Like you count through, it's like I think it's like 7 or 8 hits that you end up doing. With enough damage to transition her into phase 2. So you kind of want to like watch your health bar and also count your hits, and either one of those could help you. But before we actually initiate the fight, we're gonna pop our bolt paper. So pop it about at the end of the blood trail, interact with her, skip the cutscene, pop her pellet, and you can kind of dash for her first attack, and then R1, 2 L1s, dash through that attack. You can see like he just kind of walked to her side a lot. And so I'm just kind of like smacking her so I can 2, 3, I can only do 4 there. Okay, so her hitbox on her explosion in the first transition from phase 1 to 2 is, I think they're about the same size, but the second one she does going from phase 2 to 3 has a lingering hitbox longer than the first one, so just be mindful of that. Don't go in too early, you're gonna get one shot. But that fight wasn't perfect, but you can see how you just kind of bully her down with like posture damage, basically breaking her poise. When she queues up that overhead attack like she did early in the first phase, that is a hyper poise attack. So if you're not fully committed to like a bunch of L1s, you're probably not going to be able to stagger her out of it. So that's why I like to just do R1, L1, L1. That way you have enough stamina to react to whatever she does. You can just dash it or just wait for your stamina to build back up for the next combo. This is, like I said, another fight where I think it's highly beneficial to get used to her on BL4. In case the fight goes south, you can easily deal with her attacks in phase 2 and 3. See how we had to dash that one? And then one more hit, she should transition. So I'm gonna walk toward her and go ahead and do 5 R1s, back up a little bit, try and move in early, R1, R1, and then maybe 3, back up. Let that explosion finish all the way. It's like if I'd have moved in a touch earlier there, then that explosion would have killed me. You want to get about here for the pickup. Run straight back, and then spam X as you're getting close to this point, so you can do it as soon as possible. We'll do it a few more times though. Let's see if we can get a sketchy fight. Or she actually maybe gets away in phase 2 or 3. It's really hard to fight her whenever you have a mindset of like, I have to be aggressive, but she's got her phase 2 and 3 abilities where she's got her like her blood attacks, like extends her attack hitboxes drastically. And then there's like lingering hitboxes with the blood attack, especially in like phase 3 you have to deal with. You can also backstab her, depending on the attack. Like you can backstab a lot of her abilities. Apparently you can even backstab her jump attack that she does later on. I've never done it before. Yeah, so get up close to the fights. Go ahead and pop your bold paper. I kind of want this fight to go shitty this time, just to see how we can handle it. Interact with their spam options. Oops, too much. L1, L1. That's good. L1, L1, L1. Now one more hit and she'll move or transition here. Back up a little bit. L1, R1. I could probably finish her off there, honestly, if I just stayed in. I'm just kind of peaching out. I didn't even realize until just now. Might be able to just 4-shot her there. I'll show her a couple more times, then I'll wrap this part up and we'll do the next one. Take a small break. Yeah, like I said, this is, well, like I was talking about Logarius, I could spend a while just doing a lot of fights and trying to talk through what I'm thinking, trying to punish things, but this is just simply one of those fights you want to practice on BL4. Or even come in here with like a +0 cleaver with a leveled character is fine too. Maybe come in +0 cleaver, no buffs, and just try and punish her attacks. So yeah, we have to kind of improvise with her doing that opener. So now we gotta kind of watch her health. She should transition here though. I don't even know what percentage health that is. I just know kind of what to look for. Yeah, I don't know if I could finish her off there or not. I'm not sure. I might not be doing this fight optimally, honestly. No, this is just usually what I do. Again, like, keep in mind, I mean, I do a lot of similar strats to most of the top runners. I just might not execute it quite as well. So if it looks like my strats don't work for you, try your own or watch another runner. Okay, so this part, we intentionally, like, okay, so after Orphan, we're going to be using a hunter mark to mark out back to the lamp to get Lawrence's skull. But you don't want it on your bar because if you have an elixir, and and the pellet. These are the only two things you want on your bar if you have one pellet left, because you're gonna want to utilize a butt scratch, which you can actually get by either having your bar empty and pressing square, or if you have like your pellet on and you pop your pellet and you try and pop a second pellet and your pellet's active already, it'll give you a butt scratch. Or sometimes the game just like fuck you and you get a butt scratch for no reason. But the butt scratch is really really crucial in the orphan fight, but I'll talk more about that later. So for now, I'm going to quit out here and make a save file and show this part a few times running through Fishing Hamlet, and we're gonna pretty much finish the rest of the game in the next part. And then I might do the extra stuff like splits and whatnot. But thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.